Hey guys, I'm a chess grandmaster Vidit Gujrathi from India, and today I'll be playing a few games in the Chess Royale app and analyzing them later. In Chess Royale app, you can play games in blitz mode, that is 3 minutes, or you can play at slow mode, that is 48 hours per move. And also they have 50,000 plus problems so that you can train your skills. Let's see how this experience goes. Okay, so it's searching for an opponent, and I have 23 seconds for the move, so I'm gonna play e4. As Fisher said, it's best by test. Knight c6. Generally you should move pawns in the center, so I'll move pawn to d4. b5. I am going to play e5. Gain more space in the center. Knight at 6, that's a bad move in my opinion. So I can just capture it and the pawns will be doubled. He has to capture back. Now I'm going to play a move c3, just fortifying my center pawns like c3, d4, e5. They look really good. Bishop g7. I'm going to play bishop d3. In opening, it's very important that you develop your pieces as soon as possible. So I'm going to put my queen on h5, then bring my knight in the game so that I can mount an attack. So my next idea is to bring all my knights into the game. So I'm going to... Wait a minute. Here, I have a trick. Let's see if he falls for it. I'm going to play e6 because now it's a pin. If he takes the pawn on e6, then the king... he can't, and it's a checkmate in one. He missed it. So I'm gonna play queen takes f7, and it's a checkmate. So that was a first win. Let's see if I can analyze this. So here you can see there's an option of rematch and analyze. So the best way to improve is to always look after your games. So I'm gonna click on analyze, and there are a couple of options here. So there is a report option. I'm just going to click on analyze and it will show me what I did good, what my opponent did good. Let's see what it comes up with. So it's analyzing. My accuracy was 96.6 and my opponent's was 56.6. I played 6 best moves, 2 great moves, 1 good move, and my opponent made 1 blunder, which you can see here. So let's click on analysis, and it actually shows you that which move was a good move. So the moves which are in green are the best moves. Knight h6 was bad because it allowed to double the pawns. Then I played c3, which is good. Bishop d3. Queen to h5, development was good. And here after e6, he had to defend the pawn on f7, which he did not. And as you can see, it says a5 is blunder, and queen f7 was a checkmate. So that was a good first win. Let's try a few more games. So I'm gonna click here. Okay, I'm gonna play one more. Let's see if I can. Let's say if I play actually a tougher opponent who can give a big fight. I played e4 in the last match, so I'm gonna play d4. Trying to change the openings a little bit. He played d5. I'm going to play bishop f4. And this system is called the London system. It's played by Magnuscarlsen very often in against the best players. So the point of the system is that it's very, very easy to develop your pieces. You put your knight on f3, you put the other knight on d2, and then bring bishop to d3, and so on. My opponent is taking really long time for each move. He plays knight c6. I'm going to play knight f3. Knight f6. I'm going to play e3 so that I've opened the diagonal for my bishop on f1. He's taking his time. He has 44 seconds left. Generally, you should not put the knight on c6. As you can see, the knight on c6 is very misplaced. It would have been better if it was on d7 so that it did not obstruct the pawn on c7. Okay, my opponent is getting really low on time. He has only 16 seconds left and he plays bishop f5. I'm going to try to take advantage of this. I'm going to play bishop to b5, pin the knight on c6. Let's see what it does about it. He plays a6. He's playing good, I must say that. So I take the knight on c6 and I give it check. He takes it back and I'm going to put my knight on e5, attack the pawn on c6 and ask some questions. Let's see how he answers those. Whatever it is, it does not look easy for him. I feel I have a very good position out of the opening. The thing I like about my opponent is that he's taking his time, he's thinking and he's not making any rash moves. That's a good strategy, Be very patient. And I think that's one of the skills you learn a lot while playing chess. You increase your patience. My opponent has 12 seconds. He plays knight g4. Oh, and that's a blunder. He missed that I can just capture the knight on g4 and I'm going to be a piece up. And the rest of the game is not going to be a tough fight. I see that there is also a feature in the app where I can send some emojis or phrases. Let me try that out. Let me just say hi to him. Have a friendly talk. He plays h5, I bring my knight back. If he plays a good move, maybe I can compliment him. He's really taking his time. Plays f6 and should I just capture the pawn on c6? I think I'm going to do that. I don't think it's a good move. Actually, I don't think it's a good move at all. But I didn't see a choice. Now he has two ways to play good here. He can play either e5. If he plays e5, I can capture it, but then he gives me a check on b4 and take my knight. Or he can play a move called g5, attack my bishop. Both the moves look really good. Let's see what he comes up with. I must say, he is playing good. He's playing good. But he's taking a lot of time. He plays bishop g4. That's not a good move because I can simply play f3 and attack the bishop on g4. So this was a mistake and now I'm clearly winning. He had to keep attacking my bishop. And now I develop the rest of my pieces. I bring the knight in the game. My next idea is to play the move e4 so that I can attack the bishop this way. He plays e6 and I'm going to do that. I'm going to attack his bishop. I'm a piece up. I'm going to put pressure on my opponent. If he captures my pawn on e4, I'm going to take it back. He plays e5. Now that's a strange move, because I can take either of his pawn or the bishop. Now the confusion is, what should I do? I'm spoiled for choice. I'm going to take the pawn on e5 because I open up the position, make his king even more weak. He goes back. Now I take the pawn on d5 as well, and this looks just amazing. I'm just gonna kill his bishop. Pawn is coming to e6. It's quite dead lost. Let's see how long he will last here. This bishop f5. I'm going to keep attacking. I'm going to play e6, not give him any time to breathe. Now there is an attack on the queen which he should move. He plays queen to e7, and now I have a trap in my mind which is kind of devilish. Let's see if it works. I'm going to play queen to d4. I really hope that he does not see that my threat is to give check on a4 and then attack his king. If he sees that, then he'll try to stop it by exchanging queens, and I hope he does not do that. He plays bishop c2. Okay. There are many options here. I'm going to still play like I don't know what he's up to. I'm going to play rook c1, attack his bishop. Hopefully he moves the bishop and then I can give a check. But if he's really smart, he will play queen to b4 and exchange my queens. Let's see if he sees my idea of queen a4 check. He moves his bishop back, and now this is a bad move because I can give a check on a4. This was the idea which I was aiming for since the beginning. Now it's just dead lost. He has to move his king. Then can you find the next move? If his king comes to d8, I can give a check on c6, forking the queen and the king. Now this looks pretty lost for him. So once his king moves, I take the queen on e7. And then bring my queen to c6 and try to give a checkmate. Or I can take the queen, and now I see a checkmate in 2 moves by force. Pause the video if you can't find it. I give a check on d7, his king has to move, and then I take the pawn on c7, leading to a checkmate. And it's a checkmate. So a fine game. Let's see, let's analyze it and find out what we did right and what our opponent did wrong. So I'm going to click on. So I have played with the accuracy of 91.4. My opponent played with the accuracy of 74. So better than my last opponent. I played 16 best moves, 4 great moves, 1 good move. I had 3 slips. Oops. But my opponent had 2 blunders. So let's see the game. I played d4, d5, bishop f4. He says bishop f4 is not the best move. Interesting. Knight f3, e3, bishop f5, bishop b5 was the best move. So I played a lot of best moves in a row, which is nice. I played knight e5. Knight g4 was a blunder. I take h5, knight e5, f6. I take here queen d7. And now e4 was the best move. Wow. Incredible. Engines are so strong nowadays. Bishop g4 was a blunder. f3. Again the best move, knight c3, e6, e4. I take. Again the best move, e d5, bishop f5, e6, queen e7, bishop c2, rook c1. And yeah, I think the rest of the game was the best moves. I keep attacking his queen, and as you can see, the moves in green are the best moves. Awesome. So it was a checkmate in 24 moves. Let me play one more game and maybe searching for an opponent. I'm playing against Manikandan Murugan, so he has a profile ready. Let's see what he does. Now I'm black in this game, which is different than before. He plays d3. Usually I prefer to move the pawns 2 squares in the game. So I'm going to play e5, open up my pieces. He plays knight c3. I'm going to play d5. Again, as I said, it's most important to bring your pieces to the center in the opening stage. Knight f3. I'm going to play knight c6. Defend the pawn on e5. Let's see how he will develop his pieces now. He plays a3. I don't think this is a good move. I'm going to play f5. I'm going to be aggressive and go for the attack. I'm putting all my pawns in the center so that I can put pressure on him. He has to move. He has to try to develop his bishops. Look at the bishop on f1. It's completely boxed in. He has to develop it as soon as possible. He plays e3. I'm going to develop my knight. The most important thing in an attack is to bring all your pieces first and then launch it. You cannot go on a fight or an army field without your soldiers. You need all of them. He plays bishop to e2. I'm going to play bishop to d6. My next idea is to castle my king, bring my queen, and then launch an attack. He plays castle. Now I have a little bit of a trick in mind. Let's see if it works out. I'm going to play e4. Attack his knight. I know this is not the best move, but it's a trick I'm playing for. He captures it. I'm going to take it back. I want to go for a quick checkmate. It's not advisable, but it's very tempting. He plays knight to g5. I think that's a good move, which I underestimated. Now I'm going to play queen to e7. I need to bring my queen in the game. Very, very important. In hindsight, I don't think it was so wise for me to play e4. Wait a minute. Has he blundered? He plays bishop to b5. Now, I have some tricks in my mind. Maybe I can play the move knight to g4 with the idea to capture the pawn on h2 and also attack the knight on g5. I'm playing a bit risky, but it looks very tempting. I could also have captured on h2. Maybe it was a better move. Who knows? He's thinking. He's taking his time. The good thing is we'll find out what was the best move in the analysis section. He plays h3. Now, maybe I can try for checkmate. I'm going to play queen to g5. He's going to take the knight on g4. Oh, he does not. He gives me a check. I'll happily take the bishop away. So he has to capture the knight on g4, and then I'm thinking of bringing my rook in the game. So I'm going to play a move h5. It might not be the best move, but at least my now rook is in the attack. Let's see how he counters that. He plays f4. He is playing good moves, I must say. No doubt about that. So I'm going to exchange the queens, sadly. So there is not going to be a quick checkmate. It's a pity, but he seems to be a good player. And now we exchange queens. I have an extra pawn. So right now we are going to see some endgame skills. Hopefully. My idea is now to play bishop to a6. Maybe then double the rook on h file and go for checkmate. I'm going to say nice because his f4 move was a good move. I just sent him a sticker saying nice. He plays the move b4. I play bishop to a6. I want to attack the rook on f1. Once he moves his rook, I'm going to play the move g3, completely lock in the king. And imagine if my rook on a8 was on h1, it would be a checkmate. So the next moves are going to be in line with that. Hopefully he doesn't capture my pawn on g3 before it. It would be a real pity if he does so. I'm playing for tricks, which is generally not a good idea or recommended. If it works out, there's no joy like that. So I'm going to play king to f7. Pretend that I don't know anything about his plan. Now my next moves are going to be rook to h6, other rook to h1, h8, and try to give checkmate. I'm waiting to see what he'll play next. He plays knight e2, which is a blunder. Now he just loses the knight on e2. Definitely now the game is beyond saving for him. He got under pressure. When you attack the king, your opponent usually gets under pressure. Now I'm going to sacrifice the bishop on e2 and play the move rook to h5. The idea is I bring the next rook to h8, as I was saying, and I don't think he can really defend against the mate threats. Maybe it's forced checkmate. Captures it. I bring my rook to h8. The next idea of giving checkmate on h1. Yeah, whatever move he makes, it's a checkmate. Fantastic, that's a win. Awesome, I think this was a beautiful game. I hope you enjoyed this session, and the main thing is that you keep playing chess and you have fun. So have a good luck and enjoy the journey. Bye.